In continuing adventures of analog video capture, it's the Honestech VidBox for Mac. And just like all of the latest and greatest technology, the VidBox was featured on QVC.
These are going away. This is magnetic tape. So over time, it's going to start to disintegrate. The quality of the tape is going to start to crackle and fade, and eventually it's going to disappear. What VidBox does is actually stop that loss of memory. So it's so simple and easy to use. And that's why I love it. This works with both PC and with Mac. You don't have to choose.
Excellent.
Yes, and all you need at home is a way to play those tapes. So whether it be the VCR or a camcorder, if you have a record player, if you just need to be able to replay those simple tapes, and it's really, really easy to use.
The example I have here is not a new product. I actually found it at the thrift store, although the box is still sealed, so it was never used. And you can still buy this new today. The Mac version is $59.99, and for some reason the Windows PC version is $1.21 more expensive. And then there is the VidBox Video Conversion Suite, which is about another $10 additional on top of that. But the only difference is that the suite includes both the Mac and PC versions of the software. In all three versions, the hardware is identical. It includes the VidBox USB video capture device, a USB cable, RCA cables, software installation CD, although you can download it from their website if your computer doesn't have an optical drive. You need a product registration key to install the software, and I discovered that the Mac product key does not work on the Windows version and vice versa. So if you were planning to switch platforms at any point during your ownership of this product, you'd be screwed unless you bought the suite, which came with both. But QVC showed it on camera. Oopsie.
So, of course, we include the CD right here, but if you don't have a drive, we give you a way to download it. So there's the product key that you'll need right there.
It also has a quick start guide. It records the videos in MOV format. If you have the PC version, you can also use their VHS to DVD software to record the videos in MPEG-2 format, but that's not supported on the Mac version. And today they recommend a computer with at least a Core i5 processor, but since this one is older, it has a much more modest Intel Core 2 Duo recommendation. The VidBox has been on the market since 2013. The hardware is still the same today, but they are updating the software for it. If that sounds ancient, one of its main competitors, the Elgato Video Capture, has been on the market since 2009, and they stopped updating the Windows version of the software for it in 2014. Only the Mac version of the software for the Elgato is still being updated today. So let's open it up. Okay. There is the hardware box with the inputs and outputs on it, the two cables they mentioned, the owner's manual, and tucked inside the box is that CD. And oops, don't copy that product key. I don't want to show that on camera like QVC did. The VidBox is almost exactly the same size as a deck of playing cards. On the back it has inputs for S-video and composite video, and left and right stereo audio, RCA jacks, and the USB output to your computer. And that's it, except for an LED on the front. And as you'd expect, it was made in China. The manual is a whopping 15 pages long in several different languages, and basically just tells you to install the software, plug it in, and then gives you a few pages of instructions on how to use the software it includes. I have the VidBox installed on my MacBook Pro. For now I'm using the software mine came with. I'll try updating it to the latest version later. The first thing it asks is what kind of video playback device you have it connected to. I don't know why this would make a difference unless it's tweaking the settings somehow. It has choices including camcorder, VCR, TV/antenna, DVD player, game console, and set-top box. but it defaults to VCR, so that's what I'll go with for now. And now it gives you a choice of either composite or S-video. I'll try it with an actual VCR later, but for now I set up this Handycam as a test feed. So I'll pick S-video, and it tells me to connect it. I already have. Recording time, you can select. The default is 1 hour, and you can tell it where you want to save your video files. And hopefully now we should be ready to start capturing video. And now I'll just tell it to start recording, and there it goes. So I'll get some motion on the video here to test how that looks. And there's the test clip I just recorded. I'll put it directly into the video. Recording, and there it goes. So I'll get some motion on the video here to test how that looks. And so far I did not see any option for aspect ratio, so it may be only 4:3, at least with this version of the software. And at least on this version there are no options you can change. There is a preferences in the menu, but it's grayed out. So that's basically the entire software. The video it recorded is an MOV file, which is fine for Mac users, but may be a little bit troublesome if you want to give it to someone using a Windows PC. Some Windows video editing programs don't like MOV files. The video codec it's using is AVC, better known as H.264. The bitrate on this test clip is around 5.7 megabits, which is actually very good. The resolution is 640 by 480. And the audio is only 128 kilobits per second, which is okay, but I wish it was a little bit higher. But at least it is 2-channel stereo. The only thing concerning to me is that the frame rate it recorded is 29.612 frames per second, not the industry standard 29.97 for NTSC video. That's because it's using variable frame rate. The maximum is 29.97, but the minimum is only about half that much. And variable frame rate video is notorious for causing problems with the audio and video getting out of sync, especially if you want to put it into a video editing program. And it is progressive scan, so it is deinterlacing the video. I did some more tests, first with color bars, and I tried all 6 options it gives you when you start the program, none of which made any discernible difference in the results. The video bitrate went way down due to the lack of motion, but it did record the video at a constant 29.97 frames per second. Then to create a scene with continuous rapid motion, I pointed my Handycam at the screen of an old TV displaying snow, and the video bitrate shot way up to around 21 megabits, which is much higher than I expected, but once again it used variable frame rate, and the average frame rate was only around 15 frames per second. I know you're probably thinking that old Mac I was using is too slow and can't keep up, plus I was using a very old version of the VidBox software, so I switched to this newer and more powerful MacBook Pro, plus I downloaded and installed the latest version of the VidBox software, which now also includes an audio recording mode, but otherwise the only noticeable changes is that it now supports a 16:9 aspect ratio, plus you can adjust the audio level of the recording. And now it did record the video at a constant 30 frames per second. Not 29.97, but close enough. But when you actually watch the video it recorded, it's dropping frames like they're going out of style. So that's an unacceptable result as well. I know this still isn't a Core i5 like what VidBox recommended, but it should be more than capable of capturing standard definition video. My last hope is to try it on my iMac, which is the fastest Mac I own, and I'm actually using it to edit and upload this video. So if it can handle 1080p HD, it should be able to handle capturing standard definition video. Well, so far that looks okay on the preview. Now let's see how it actually records. This is a test of using the VidBox software on my iMac to see if it's dropping any frames, and I can already see on the preview that while it started out okay, now it's occasionally starting to skip and stutter. So it's better than before, but still not an acceptable result. I'm beginning to think the VidBox is a lost cause, But there may be one saving grace, and that is ditching the software it came with and instead using QuickTime to capture the video. All you have to do is go to New Movie Recording, and usually this defaults to your computer's built-in webcam, but if you click on the little down arrow next to the recording button, you get a list of choices including the vidbox. You can choose either the composite or S-video input. Make sure you set the microphone to the vidbox as well, and you get two choices of quality, high and maximum. The high quality mode gives you 640 by 480 AVC video with a bitrate of around 4 megabits and 320 kilobit 2-channel AAC audio. And the maximum quality mode gives you 720 by 480 ProRes video with uncompressed PCM audio, which produces enormous file sizes that are impractical for uploading or sharing, but are good for reducing quality loss when editing the video, such as I am doing here. Both quality settings deinterlace the video at a maximum of 30 frames per second. So there is no way to use a custom deinterlacing method to get 60 frames per second out of the vidbox. Now finally, let me hook up a video source and give you some samples of what the video looks like when using QuickTime to capture it instead of vidbox's own software. Here's a test of a live camera feed recording using QuickTime in the high quality setting, and finally we're getting smooth, consistent video with no dropped frames.
Let's get started.
Okay.
Miss Genius, we'll see how genius you are.
All right.
We've got a great table here full of beautiful scarves, all available at Walmart, of course. And before we get started, I want to bring your attention to the lower left corner of your screen. This is our Easy Knot Finder clock, and it will help you locate your favorite style as we go through all this. Okay, Shirley?
Okay.
Let's roll that clock. You are officially on.
I'm on, okay? So I got to stay on time, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Actually, you take your time and show
Okay.
everybody how to do it.
My friends, now you got my cassette. And this cassette about my ideas in figure skating. I was all my life in figure skating, and I skate in competitions.
In fact, a Katy Fun Pool is one of the most durable swimming pools available, because unlike other above-ground pools, a Katy Fun Pool has eliminated the need for those flimsy metal walls, which means a Katy Fun Pool is designed to last, making it not just a purchase, but an investment.
Hello, I'm Daryl, and welcome to my video bowling clinic. I've been involved in many different areas in the bowling industry, from competitor on the professional level to manager of one of our family-owned and operated bowling centers, to lane maintenance technician, to pro shop operator, to promotions and outside sales, to founder and director of some of the area's most prestigious tournaments. But the area I've enjoyed the most is that of instructor. It's been very rewarding to me to see the vast improvement in the many new, intermediate, and advanced bowlers that I have instructed.
As you can tell by my voice, I've come down with a cold, so I'm going to try to wrap this up quick. Honestly, that wasn't too bad. The video did have some occasional jitteriness and glitches due to the lack of a time-based corrector, but it certainly looked a lot better than what I got from the Elgato video capture device. And maybe if you did have a powerful and fast machine like what they recommend, the software that vidbox provides would work without dropping frames. But capturing video is a time-consuming process, and if you have enough video to capture to justify the investment in a capture device like this, you're probably not going to want to tie up your main computer for hours on end doing it. And that's where an older Mac that you may not be regularly using anymore but is still working perfectly fine should have been perfectly suited to the job. After all, capturing DVD quality standard definition video over USB without dropping any frames was a solved problem over 20 years ago. This device from 2002 is able to do it flawlessly on a Pentium 3. So while it does produce acceptable quality results, I cannot recommend the vidbox for Mac unless you have a pretty fast and powerful Mac to use it on, and or forget about the software it comes with and just use it with QuickTime.
Figure skating is not sport. figure skating, it's art. It's great art because ballet in figure skating, it's one system, it's one idea about dance, about our body. And now I try explain to you and I try show you why it's must be art.